Okay, I'm going for the next thing. I think mostly I covered everything now. All these things. Okay. I am taking a next one, um, which is nothing but we will go for JavaScript actually. Okay. Okay. So today I will tell you simple JavaScript integration as well as how JavaScript will be useful in the web application. Okay, with the same website, because what we have done with the same website I'm just mentioning, but here I will remove the green color. It is like not good actually. Okay. Okay. So now we will go for JavaScript, the main thing. Yeah. Okay. So JavaScript, I think from the name itself we will understand. It is actually again the first thing is it is not a Java subject or something. It is a JavaScript is the browser-based language for interacting with users. Users means again the user, the people who is using the website actually. Browser for interaction with the users for website, or we can say with the website in the website actually. Okay, this is the first one. So as you can see now, as you can see here, the CSS and HTML will be specifically for to create a to create HTML and designing actually. That's it. Apart from this, it does not do anything. As you can see here, right? Because now we have designed this page. It does not. Whenever I'm clicking something, it won't have interaction actually. Correct? Right? When I'm clicking navigation, only the navigation will have. This is the extreme interaction with the HTML and CSS. In case if I click this image, I want to show something, or if I click this image, I want to do something, or if I click this contact button, it navigates to the contact page. But if I click this button, it has to show the error like the enter the email, enter the message or something. It has to show no. So nothing will be shown. That's because JavaScript is not there. So to avoid this scenario, only JavaScript came actually. So JavaScript is the language to specifically interact with the user to understand the website perspective view to how to speak with the users if they want to, or the browser wants to show something to the user. That time they can use the JavaScript actually. Okay, so JavaScript is available for all the browsers. So I think we can use Chrome, Internet Explorer. Now it's not available, and on Edge also we can able to use it, and Safari is a Safari, and also Opera. So all these browsers will have the support for the JavaScript actually. Okay, without JavaScript nowadays the websites won't run. So because all these things can be run only by the JavaScript only. In case if the browser, or particularly the browser is not support for the JavaScript, the website itself not able to run our application. Okay, so this is what about JavaScript actually. Okay, now we will see how to implement JavaScript and what are the, how can we use it in our application. So in the JavaScript, like in the CSS, It is also can be loaded in a two ways, which means it can be loaded in a two ways. One is again the same thing, external JavaScript. Second one is internal JavaScript. That's it. There is no inline actually, only two things. So external JavaScript means the same thing from the external JavaScript file. Internal means from the internal, which means again the same way inside the header, or we can use it in any other pages as well. But because initially we have to define only in the header part, but in some people they may define inside the body as well. So we can define wherever we want, but the particular JavaScript code will not be shown to the user because JavaScript code will be compiled as a different one, so it will not be shown to the user. Okay. Okay. Now we will see what is, but both the external and internal has to be defined in the header tag only, the same like CSS actually. Okay. Okay. First thing we will see. So how can we define the JavaScript in the HTML page? Okay. So as we know earlier, we have a HTML, we have a HTML code, and inside that we have a header tag, as we know already. And the next one, inside the header, still yesterday we have what we have done is loading the CSS, which is nothing but style like that. Right now? Yes, this is what about loading the CSS. This is specifically for loading the styles in our application. CSS actually. Okay, this is the default one. Okay, instead, if we want to, sorry, along with that, if we want to load any other CSS, this can be done, which means using the concept of the same. So here we have what in case if I want to use any JavaScript, if we want to use any JavaScript, then I need to use script. So this is what about script type text JavaScript actually, which means here I can apply my own JavaScript code actually. Okay, I will tell you what is the syntax for applying the JavaScript, but this is what about text JavaScript actually. Okay, so in this tag only, inside this tag only, we need to define our JavaScript code. Okay, so first thing what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a simple code like console.log. So what this line will do, from the name itself we will understand. In the Java we used to see like system.out.println, right? The same way here we are providing the console log. Console log is specifically for to print the content in the browser console. It won't show to the user. Just for our developer preferences, we used to this thing. But in the production or in the production under, we should not use this concept. Only for the development sorry development purposes, we can use the console.log actually. Okay, this is specifically for development purposes. Okay, so inside the log, I am providing a sample text actually. Okay, so this is what I'm doing. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm just copying the script, and here maybe I will create a new file. I don't want to do again because we will come back later to this website. Now I'm going to create a simple HTML like js.html. So inside the HTML, the same thing. HTML, maybe I will size. Okay, inside the HTML, I'm providing a head, and inside the head, I'm providing a body, and here style, CSS. Sorry, we don't need a CSS, right? So here specifically for JavaScript, right? So here I'm providing a script type text to JavaScript. Here I'm providing a simple console.log. So this console.log, what it will do, it will just print the data in the console. That's it. So I will tell you the console after the running, how to open all these things. This is from JS console. So JS stands for JavaScript actually. So JS console. Okay, in the body I'm just providing. This is sample HTML. Okay, this is for something to understand this is loading or not. Okay, that's the reason I'm just mentioning. And in the console, I'm printing something. So what it will do, printing the text in the console. Okay, that's it. So now I am opening the file, the new file. Okay. So as you can see here, now we are having a script. Inside the script, we are printing the console, right? So how to open the console in our browser? Okay. So to open the console in our browser, right click on the page, anywhere in the web page, right click on the anywhere in the web page. You may see there is an option called inspect, right? So if you click that, the window will be opened here. Okay. That is because we are opening the console. Here you can see the option called console, right? So this is what about console. The second option is, this is what console. This is the one way. The another way is if I click the F12 button, then this will be open. Otherwise, this is the one more way of opening the console. The another way is if you go the hamburger button menu, the menu is there, no, this menu. So if we go to this menu, and here you can see the more tools. Inside the more tools, you may see this developer tool, right? So if we click this developer tool, then the same developer tool. Actually, the entire thing will be called as a developer tool. So in this developer tool, we can see the console actually. Okay. So either we can go with the right click inspect or F12 or hamburger menu, click on this thing and we can go for more tools and these developer tools. Okay. So these are the one we can use it our developer tools. Okay. So now if I come here, you can see the console light. So now if I refresh the web page, you can see the output. Yeah, you can see the output. This is from JS console. So this message is given from, or this message is provided by our code, which we are given like this. Okay. So now I have updated something to this code, something like this is new code. Okay. I'm just refreshing, as you can see here. Now you got the new updated code actually. Okay. So this is about updating the code to our application. Okay. This is very simple application of how the JavaScript works in our browser. So as you can see here, okay, as you can see here, okay, so as you can see here, the console, I never execute this program. Automatically, it will be executed by the JavaScript compiler itself, which is nothing but by the browser itself. So I don't, same like CSS, we don't need to any external command to execute the JavaScript. So automatically, whenever browser sees something like any JavaScript code or something, automatically it will understand and it will do the same thing. It will execute the JavaScript actually. That's it, right? So any other questions regarding the JavaScript or something? Okay. Okay, I will go for the next one. So this is what about JavaScript, executing the JavaScript here. Okay, the next one, what I'm going to do is, I'm just mentioning a simple function. Okay, I don't want to go into this thing. maybe it will be a little tough for you. Okay, now I want to add a simple calculation in our application. Something like I want to add two numbers for example, like add is equal to 5 plus 10. So this is like a simple addition. I can print the value also, which means I can just copy this value, so IS, and I will paste it here. And if I execute it, execution means again I need to come to the browser. I need to refresh the web page actually. Okay, otherwise JavaScript itself does not compile. So we need to come here and we need to run the file actually. So if you run it, you understand. Okay, as you can see here, now the 10 is coming. The 10 is coming due to that we have added a value. So due to that, we got the 5 plus 5 is equal to 10 actually. Okay, instead of 5, if you put 15, you can see the 20 will come. Okay. This is because okay. So this is what about this thing. And the same thing we can go for all the operators. So this will be called, can be called as operator. Operator means it's like a any other simple what to do, how to say, it's like a addition, subtraction, multiplication, all these things. No, all this will be considered as an operator only. Okay. Okay. So any other queries regarding this thing? Okay. 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 I will go for the next one. I hope you people know the loops and all, right? Already we have seen in the Java itself. No? I don't need to explain something like, I think I will explain actually for loop, while loop, and then conditions is there. If, else if, else, all these things we can see, and then for loop, while loop, do while, for in, for loop, while loop, do while, for in for array actually, array iteration, and then any other loops which we have missed. Okay. Okay, what are the topics we need to see? Array, objects, so all these things we need to see. And the variable declaration, method declaration. Okay, so these are the things that the important thing is event binding. Event binding. Updating DOM using JS. Okay, so these are the topics we are going to see in our JavaScript applications. So once we have done this thing, then we will go for the Angular actually. Okay, so all these things we are going to see in very only. So once we have Then we will go for once we are comfortable, then we will go for the the appropriate one actually. Okay. Okay. So any other doubts regarding the topics or anything? Okay. Okay. First, I will go for variable declaration and all these things one by one. Okay. First thing is variable declaration. As like in Java, JavaScript is not a tightly coupled language. It is a loosely coupled language, which means I can use the same variable as a string, sorry, number, and I can use the same variable for string as well. So for string also, I can use the same variable. Due to that, I can use it in a same manner, which means it's not a. For example, in Java, if you provide integer, it has to load the number only. It should not have any other string or something, right? That's because it is a strongly typed language. But in JavaScript, it is not like that. We can use it for some other way as well, but it won't throw any error. But still, it may work in a different manner, but it won't throw any error because these are loosely typed languages. So for one data type, in the first line I may give number, in the second line I may give string as well. Still it won't throw any error actually. But in Java, as you know, for the integer variable I can't provide a string value. The same string for string variable I can't provide an integer value as well. Okay. So the next one what I'm going to do is variable declaration. So the first thing is this is the number, and the second one I'm going to provide is name. So this is name actually. So this thing I'm providing, and as usual, for this thing I am providing some value. I'm printing the value. So name I'm just providing. So once I add it, I will go to the page. If I can refresh it, you can see this is the name it will print. This value is printing because we are adding this console.log, and it has the value which is coming from this variable. Due to this variable, the particular value is getting printed in our application. Okay, so this is what about. Okay, so this is what about variable declaration. So any other doubts? I think variable declaration. And the same thing I can provide boolean also. So, but again, I don't need to define anything. Something like status equal to true. So this is like a boolean variable. Maybe I can add it like number string. Sorry, it should be coming. It's a boolean. So we don't need to define anything. So automatically it will be uh, understood by the browser itself. So we don't need to provide any value like something like boolean or something. Okay. So this is what about JavaScript actually. Okay. Okay, this is what about variable declaration. Next, we will go for the condition. So the condition means already in the Java itself we have seen if condition, else condition. No? The same way, exactly same way, everything like and or else. So everything will be the same like in JavaScript. So here also I can do the same thing. For example, if status, here I'm mentioning console dot log as status value is true. Okay. The else condition I am mentioning console.log is status is false. That's because the status has become true as well as status has become false actually. Okay. So now if I run this code, as you can see, status is value is true because now the status has become true. In case instead of true, if I put false, if I change it, why. Okay. How come status is true still? Once again, some strange thing is happening. Okay, I understand the scenario. Okay, that's because the let actually what this led to. Okay. So I will tell you this difference later. This let, where, and the constant. There's a three types of variable declaration is there in JavaScript, which means I will tell you the difference later, maybe in the further classes. So which means let, where, const. Okay, these are the three types of variable we can define in the JavaScript. So this is the newly added by the browser. I think like 4 years or 5 years back they have added. So let is variable. So all these things is like a for declaring the variable only. So let is like a within a block. Okay. So where is like a global variable. It's kind of global one. Const is from the name itself. It's like a constant variable. We can't change actually. Okay. Okay. So these are the different types of variables. So here what we have done is for within a block, we need to add this lets. Due to that, it is got actually, but I don't know how this can be changeable. But however, I will let you know by tomorrow. This has something different. It's not like weird. However, it should not be do. Okay, only this boolean I will check and let you know what is this thing. But even though it's a var let, if it is false, it has to show the same thing. Right? Status value is true. It's showing like this. It should come to else loop, right? Okay, I will tell you that tomorrow actually. Tomorrow why it's coming to the else because it is new to me. Okay, this thing I'll tell you tomorrow, guys. So this is what about if condition. And the same if else if whatever we have seen in Java, right? The same thing we can apply here as well. So using the if, the same variable, if it is true, it will go here. Otherwise, it will go for the else loop. And in case if we want, we can go for else if as well. This we will see a little deeper when we are going to Angular in the form validations. Then I will tell you if else if all these things. Now leave it as of now. Okay, if condition, and then we can go for loop actually. I hope you know for loop, right? Maybe like yeah, same thing I will show you here as well. So here, sorry, the integer and unknown it here I can use where plus console.log. Again, from as usual, whatever we have done, no? The same thing console.log. Here I'm telling like value of for loop is I. Or so you can say 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 8. So all these values will be displayed here actually. Okay, so that's it. So here is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, up to 9 it's coming. As usual, the same for loop, but here in the JavaScript, sorry, in the Java we used to have integer, right? So here there is no integer long or something, just everything will be considered with the var only. I think instead of var, I can go for let as well. So both these things, either let or either var. So if you go, yeah, same, still I have the same output actually. Okay, so this is what about for loop. And then while loop means the same thing. Till it gets true, it will execute, otherwise it will become false. Maybe I will comment the for loop. I will go for the while loop. Status equal to true. Okay. So this thing we have seen in the Java, right? The same way. Here I am mentioning while status and I am mentioning console.log. While status. So here I am mentioning I here just a while loop, right? So maybe like I want to I want to run it for around 0. 10 times I need to run actually. Okay, this is like manually I need to run that 5 plus plus. So here if I greater than 10, then I am changing like while status is equal to true. Sorry, it should be false. So here I'm mentioning like console dot exit. I know. To understand something like that I'm adding. Okay, so now in case there may be issue will come. Yeah, up the when the I think till 11 as you can see here. 11 is count actually. It's not being provided by the browser. It's counting. If the same character is coming, it will count. So till 11 times it's showing, and when it become more than 11, sorry, more than 10, the while is added. Then we got the messages exit while loop, and then value is become false. Due to that, the while loop is getting exited, or the while loop is stopped. Actually, this is the same way of how we are executing the while loop in the Java. Okay, so there won't be any major difference as of now in terms of Java programming or our JavaScript looping actually. Both are same actually. Okay. Okay. The next thing we will go for loop, while loop, do while. I think do while also do the same thing. We can do the same thing. So something like equal to geo. So here also I'm adding the same code here as well. So that it's a while status. So whatever you have done in there, so again here I will copy this thing. Okay, so now if I refresh, you can see the same thing. Yeah. So still I can get the same output. Something like when the while loop is more than the 10 one, it will be executed. Okay. Okay. So this is what about while policies. Do while. Okay. Any doubts regarding the form while in JavaScript? Or do we need? Shall I go for next topic or is it okay? Okay. So I am going for the next topic called array actually. So but here the array will be little different than the Java. Little different, not exactly. The small difference is there. So I will remove all these things. So all these things we have seen. Variable relations we have seen. We need to see array, event binding, update of using JavaScript. So these are the things we need to see. One second, guys. Only one second. Okay, guys. Okay. So here, now we need to see the arrays as well as objects, method declaration, event binding, and updating the DOM action. Okay, all these things are very important concept. Okay, so we will go for the concept one by one. The first thing is array actually, not like in the JavaScript array declaration will be entirely different. So the first thing is, as I told earlier, it is not a structured type language. It is specifically like a loosely type language. So for again array declaration, we need to use the square bracket. So using the square bracket only, I need to define the array. For objects, we need to use the curly brace. But there in Java, we need to use collections, right? Collections hash map we need to use. But in the JavaScript, we need to use the objects actually. Okay, so these are the two topics we need to see as of now. So all these things we will see later. I will make this other business. So I don't want to mention this thing. Okay, so these are the topics we need to see, which means in as of now. So array and objects and how can we iterate the array. So this thing is same like in Java. There is no difference between like mostly the syntax will change, but again it's like iterating the array using the for loop actually. That's it. So this is array and objects. So we will see how to create array in the JavaScript. First thing is to create array in JavaScript. We will use variable name is equal to this is what first thing. So this is like a index array as we have seen in the Java array, the same thing index array. So index array means as you know the index will be automatically generated by the application itself. So we don't need to create anything. So automatically it will be understand by the automatically the index will be index will be created by the JavaScript itself. Okay, that is what about index array. Okay, so now what we are going to see is how we will see how to create an index array in our JavaScript. But here the advantage of JavaScript and JavaScript is in the Java we can't increase the element in the index array. Did you remember? In the Java, once we declare the size of the array or once we declare the element of the array, index array, specifically index array, we can't add the element in the array. It will be fixed size. But in terms of JavaScript array, it is not in a way we can dynamically add the element to the particular array. Actually, okay. So here, this is the index array. Here, what I'm mentioning is just I'm printing the array in the console. So console.log. So here I'm mentioning the array, which means if I refresh it, okay, the file name is JS array, so I will open the file as well. Now it's, as you can see here, it is empty because the array does not have anything, so it is empty array is printing here in the application. So the next one is, now if I want to add any element, it is not necessary be like a string or integer. So for this array, I can do whatever I want actually. As you can see here, I can combine both the values. Still, I can see, you can see, right? Both the string as well as numbers will be displayed here because it does not. It is a loosely typed language. Due to that, it does not expect to be the restricted data type. I can given whatever the data I want. And one more thing, the same in the Java, like whenever we want to get the size of the array, we are using the method called length, right? If I put length of the array, then it will give the length. The same method I can use here as well. To get the count of the array or how many elements are there, I can use the name dot length. If I give this thing, it will tell me it will give us the how many elements are there. But it is not the way, right? 11, how come 11? 4 plus 4, 8. So, yeah. I think this is because of that thing. Yeah. Okay. I will tell you this letter and where actually. Okay, now consider. So here, as you can see here, now 3 is coming. That's because we are having the 3 elements inside this array. Due to that, it shows the 3 actually. Okay, so in case if I add one more element, something. So if I refresh it, you can see 4 will come because we have added one more element to the array. Due to that, 4 will come. Okay, now consider here I am adding a dynamically to the array. So in the next line, in Java we can't do that, but in JavaScript we can do that. Here I am giving a name of, I think I can provide empty. So like this 0, 1, 2, 3. I am giving a 4. So now I think it has to show 5. Yeah. Correct, right? Because 5 is coming. Still in Java, it will show the error because we can't increase the array value dynamically in the Java, but in JavaScript, it is not the way. We can do it in our own. So we can dynamically add it in our application. Okay. So here, index all these things and all these things as well. So if we refresh it. Okay. So name of 4 means in the 4th position, I'm just adding this value. Okay. Okay. This is the one way of adding the element, and there is one more function is that this is like adding the element to the array. This is the one way of adding the element. The next one is we have one function, common function in the JavaScript, which will add the element to the array, which means name of name dot push actually. What this method will do, automatically it will add the element to the particular array by the defined position. So which means here I should know the position to add the element. But this push method, I don't need to know the element of the method. Automatically, it will add the element to the end of the array. Adding the element to the so now I am removing this one maybe I will add it. Okay. If I give push means what it will do, it will add 6. Now 6 elements is having, as you can see here, the last one is ASDF. The ASDF is showing, that's because ASDF has all these things. Okay. Okay. So this is what about pushing the element to the particular array using the method called push action. This push what will do, adding the element to the end of the array. So at the end of the array, I can able to add this value. This is what about array adding. Okay, so array push. This push we will use frequently in our JavaScript application as well as in Angular application also. This is very important method. This push method. This is very, maybe sometimes in interview also they will ask what is how to add array to the, how to add element to the particular JavaScript array. Okay, this push method is specifically for adding the element to the particular array. And again, for the push method, we don't need to provide the specific index. Automatically, it will add the element to the end of the array. Okay. Okay. The next one, we will go for the push method, all these things. Okay, we will go for iterating the loop actually. Okay, so as like in Java, in JavaScript as well, we are having two ways to iterating the JavaScript array. We can go for loop. I think we can go for in as well. So normal for loop, this is like a same as like Java. So which means for, and here array, and you know array always start with Java. Sorry, integers of 0, right? So here also I'm providing a let start equal to 0 because array index array always starts with the 0 only, and here I'm mentioning start of name dot length, which means till it gets the last loop. So here I'm mentioning a start plus plus. This is the same like Java, right? The same initialization on the for loop and the condition and the incremental. So this is same as like in Java only. Console.log start. So if you refresh it, it will show the all the elements here. As you can see here, tested for test 1, 2, 3, SGS, all these things. Okay, so all these things will be shown in the console log actually. That's it. So any other queries regarding this array iteration? So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to iterate the array. In the another, this is the one way of iterating the array. The next one is also there for let's go in name. This is also one way of iterating the array, but here there is one more scenario. I think 4 stands in I think 0, 1, 2, 3 will come. One second. Yes. 0, 1, 2, 3 will come. So this O means again this will be like index of the particular array. So here what I can do is I can provide the name of O. So this will run here. So here also you can see the next iteration will be given the all the elements from the particular array. So if I comment this for loop as of now, just to understand. Here I'm commenting the for loop, and if I execute one more time, still I can get the same value as like in previous for loop. This is right? So here I'm getting the same all the 4 conditions. Sorry, all the elements here as well. So, but only one thing is here I'm having a different condition. Only thing is the for automatically will identify the index, but in this loop we have to identify the index. But this for loop will be useful in terms of object array. There's a 2 types of array, right? One is array, one is object, right? So for this array, I can use the 2 types of for loop, which means using the index, using the incremental for loop and the object iteration for loop. But this for loop, this object iteration can be done using only with the object only. Okay. Okay. So any doubts here regarding any for-loop or something? Okay. Okay, no problem. So here, I will tell you the objects as well. So array means, again, from the name itself, the same like in Java, it will be started with the zero, and one by one it will increase to one by one, like 0, 1, 2, 3, and all these things. Okay, but this object means it won't consider by the index. We need to provide the key. Like in the collections, you may remember the hash map, right? Hash map means we need to provide the both key and value. The same thing will be applicable for objects as well. So in the object, I need to provide both the key and value. Due to that, the value will be stored in the particular key. And again, this object will be mentioned by the curly braces. So here, maybe I don't want to. Okay, I will create a new file, JS objects. I don't want to. Okay, and here I'm mentioning. So here I'm mentioning let objects sample is equal to curly brace. So here I'm mentioning a curly brace actually. So here objects sample dot name is equal to sample. So here we are mentioning like we are adding the name. Maybe here in the first I will add it here. Then we will go for the. So in the object, it is not index array. We have to provide the key and value. So here providing a name, providing a test name actually. Okay, this is the one I'm just providing. The next one is first name. First name, maybe here I don't want this one. And again, using the comma, it's the last name. Last name. Email. Okay, so this is all about objects, and as you know, like in Java, I can't provide a duplicate key name. If I give duplicate key name, I think the value get overdone actually. Okay, okay. To get the object, I can use like console.log. So these two values I can provide it here. And okay, the file name is little different. So here I'm providing in JS objects. Okay, so here as you can see here, the first thing is email is getting printed here. The next one is first name is getting printed here. Okay, that's because both email and first name is showing here actually. Okay, so this is what about objects actually. Okay, any doubts here? The last I will tell you for let go in object sample. This is about iterating the objects actually. So here I'm mentioning. Here what I will get is I will get the object section console.log. As you can see here, only the first name, last name, email will come, which means only the key will come. So now if I make it like a object sample, that is JECPS, you can get the first name, last name, this is email. All the value will be printed. Okay, maybe I will add it proper. This is the first name. This is the last name. So all the value will be printed here actually. Okay, this is the first name, last name, email actually. Okay, this is what about object iteration. Object iteration. This is the accessing objects. Okay. So any doubts here regarding this object or something? If you have any doubts, you can ask me. Otherwise, we will wind up actually. Yeah, guys. Then we can wind up actually. Yes.